Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. Okay, so I'm finally ready to reveal the last part of the automatic door openers that I bought from China. The cheaper models, the $400 ones. If you haven't seen the other videos of how I wire it all up and all, you can go through and watch those other videos. This is just the final look. So as you can see, we've got two door closers mounted up there. I have sprayed the covers black because it looks more sexy on black doors. And being internal, it doesn't, it's not really going to need any powder coating or anything, so spray paint was good enough for that, and it turned out fairly well. I've also gone to the trouble of changing out my lock handles. These handles I bought once again from China. They have a really good spring in them, and as you can see, it's a really good handle. The other handles were limp and I didn't like them. I also changed the cylinder to a matte black cylinder, and I also pushed in the tongue so it's not going to get into the way. I still kept the lock because I want the ability to manually lock these doors in case of any issues with them. I can always go back to a mechanical lock and it's not a problem. So I have bolts on this. I'll just open. I have bolts on the bottom and bolt on the top as well. So that allows me to lock it manually, just like I would any other type of door, and use the lock as I would any other type of door. To use it manually, I simply need to just power down the motors. Now, as you see, these two motors are working in tandem. They're both synced to each other. They're smart controls, which means that as soon as you power them on, they kind of link and they know they're together. So if I want to go to using just one single door, I need to power down both controllers and then power on the one that I want to use. If I leave it the way it is, it thinks it's still in dual mode. And when it's in dual mode, you'll actually see what happens when I go to walk out by triggering the sensor. This door opens up first, and when we close again, in a couple of seconds, this door will be the first to close. A lot of doors have a rebate. Here it goes. And that allows the weather stripping or the rebate on the outside. The rebate being the piece that covers the other door. That allows this door with all the fluffy, what they call horsehair, I think, to actually close first. So it closes nicely. You might also notice another thing here which caused me a lot of grief, and I'll just do it real quickly. When the doors open up, it's when the doors close that the problems really come into play. When the doors close, and I'll just quickly show you, see the sensor? It's activating. But notice how these doors are still operating. So there's the diagram was not good, believe me. There's a way to wire up the internal sensor, and it's called sensor shielding, which allows you to have this sensor working in conjunction with the other sensors and not register when it's on its closing cycle. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so for the doors opening up past 90 or before 90 degrees, I'll just do it one more time. They've actually got a slide track on the top, and you can actually just set the bump stop at the top so that you can do it. At the moment, I've got them both opening up 90 and to about 3 seconds, and then they close up. So it's enough to walk through. All right, so let's demonstrate a few little things. I've also wired up an exit button. Anytime I step on this carpet down here, the door's going to open. So I'll try and get past here. So here's my exit button. Wait for the doors to close. Now I'm going to push that button and the doors open up again. Push it once more, they should close. Nope, I have to wait the 3 seconds. Alright, so a couple of different functions too. There's a 30k limit. They can lock into gear, so to speak. So that kind of holds the doors quite strong. So when they're locked, they're locked. You do get a little bit of give in the doors. The next thing is you can set it where if you push the doors, it actually works as like a sensor. It'll sense that the door's being pushed and then it'll carry on opening. I'll see where it's at now. Actually, what I'll do is I'll turn my sensors off. I did carve in a couple of switches here just so I have the control of that. So my two sensors are off. They're still powered up, but they're off. Now we're going to go through and demonstrate pulling the doors open. It'll either lock up, depending on how I've got it. It'll either pull an inch or two and lock up, or it'll actually activate it. We'll go. Okay, so it locks up. So you can see how much, it's probably about 100 mil you get out of the doors in the locked state. The other way to do it would be to set it so that when it sensed that, it would work as a trigger and open it up, but I haven't got it set that way. I might have done it in one of the other videos. Okay, so yeah, the little switches I put on the side there just help me if I wanted to turn it off so that I'm working behind this door, it's not going to trigger and activate. I've got my microwave sensor set to this area here about the size of the carpet. So I normally just push this carpet up a bit further, covering the drain, and that will actually work in place. On the outside, it's pretty much identical. It's about 2 meters across by 1 meter out is where the sensor zone is, and I'll simulate it. I'll just turn this on. Okay, so we walk out. There's a sensor at the top. Standing still, don't want to activate it. Okay, the door's closed. Activating it. And now the door's open. So the sound off these is extremely quiet. You know, you're talking 40 decibels, not much at all. Okay, so I'll just quickly finish up before the camera goes flat again. Okay, so let's activate it, demonstrating an obstruction. All right, and closing, another obstruction. So as far as the obstruction, it's fairly soft. You're not going to squash your fingers in there. It's safe enough for pedestrians, kids, and things like that. It doesn't take much to actually stop the doors, which is very good. Now let's demonstrate. I'll turn the sensors off. Let's demonstrate the RFID. So I can swipe a tag here, or I can just use my PIN number. Wait for the doors to come to rest. Okay, so I could use this as a swipe card, program in a swipe card, or I can use a PIN number. The doors will open. Sensed it. Okay, coming through this way. If I wanted to, I could use the internal sensor. The internal sensor is turned off now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a request to exit button, and bang, it opens up again. So the question is, are they suitable, reliable enough for foyer doors? Yes, you could use it for a foyer door. Being a cheaper model and things, you know, you can be in for a little bit of problems. They did take a little while for me to hook up, especially the sensors and things like that. Okay, so just before I get interrupted again, okay, so by putting the switches on the sensors gives me the ability to use them these door closers, how I want to use them. As far as using them commercially and things like that, yes, you could. For me, it works very well because I've got an RFID access control and a button. If you had a key switch, it'd work well. If you're hooking up to intercoms and things like that, it could be a lot more confusing and a lot more troublesome. The actual wiring to connect one motor to the other was not a problem. Hooking up the sensors can be a little bit tricky. Exit button, all of that's fairly straightforward and standard. The remote controls that come with it, I've spray painted this one and engraved it. So we've got the lock button. So when I push that, it'll actually hold the doors to and lock them. The sensor will still work. Oh, actually, will it? Let's try. All right, it's locked now. Sensor, okay, we're not working. Egress. Egress is working. Okay, the other button here is hold open. The other button is auto and then reset. We'll reset. Programming these, very simple. Pop the cover, push the button, you'll hear a tone, push that. So if I go auto, they're just going to go on their automatic way. About 3 seconds it'll close again, and they're just on automatic. And if I go hold open, the doors are just going to completely hold open. Just like that. Now, even after 3 seconds, I'll stay like that. Now, for commercial shops, they generally have a key switch where you turn off the outside sensor or the inside sensor or one or the other so that people can exit but can't come back in. So you turn off the outside sensor so new customers can't come in at the end of the day. And a lot of the time as well, they have a lock button which turns off both sensors so that the door can't get tripped and it stays in the locked position. So all of this can be achieved by the remote control. There is a separate unit you can wall mount, which can be connected and you can key switch it around. I don't have that. So let's just go back to auto. Yeah, everything comes in Chinese, so I had to translate everything. All in all, I'm pretty happy with them. They're doing exactly what they want to do. With the new handle and the new cylinder, it looks very sexy, and being black on black, it all looks quite sexy. The door closers set me back about 440. The microwave sensor about another 40 or 50. Painting was nothing, and the handles, I think they came in at 20. The cylinder came in at about 30. So all in all, it looks pretty good. The only thing I didn't do was the stainless hinges. maybe I probably should have swapped them out for black ones, but they weren't available when I was purchasing them. Now I've just got to clean down the doors just a little bit more, make them look a little bit nicer, and we're pretty much good to go. If you've got a door closer that's not working at a unit block or something, yes, I guess you could use this. It would work, but the more simpler you keep it, the easier it's going to be on you. So, for example, them coming into the property, if it was just sensor on sensor, it'll be okay. But if you're hooking onto intercoms and things, it'll be a problem. For me, I would put the sensors, shoot them down the hallway further, and by the time they get there, the door's open. By the time they leave, they close pretty quick. As far as the strength and the safety, I find this product pretty good. Longevity, reliability, well, only time will tell on that one. But, you know, you get what you get sometimes. Sometimes you get a little bit more, but a lot of times you get what you get. So if these motors last me 5 years, I'd be, you know, pretty happy with that. They're not high use, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So I'm just in the sensor. I'll turn my sensors back on. We'll do one last demonstration. Opening. I'm going to walk through before it closes. It won't sense me on this side, but I can obstruct it. There's my messy tools. I've also done a cover around the top. If it does get wet, the raindrops can affect the microwave, so I'll have to do a little bit more of a cover on that. I'm not sure if that's IP rated, but we'll find out the hard way. Okay, accessing. So nice, beautiful opening and closing. And just to show you how loud it is, let's listen. I'll put the camera right next to it. And that crow outside is making more noise than these door closers. So yeah, definitely an option in some circumstances. Leave your comments down below what you think of my automatic door closers on our workshop. Thanks for watching.